Okay, so we'll be talking about business investment appraisal, economic analysis, and life cycle costing. Economic analysis comes into play when you have choices, and we always have choices. Let's say you want to change your fluorescent incandescent bulbs into LEDs. Then you have choice. It's either you change it to LED, or you change it to super LED, or you change it to halogen bulbs. So there are options. But you want to change your window ACs, you want to change into split unit. These are choices. When you want to change your freezer into a more energy efficient one, these are choices. So the only way you get to know which one is better or which one will give you a better return is when you perform economic analysis. And this economic analysis is something, by virtue of this training, we would like to introduce you to some of those basic economic analysis so that you can learn them and then master them. So the major issue in economic analysis is what we call time value of money. Time value of money, okay, which can come in form of interest, okay, from a borrowed money. So why we talk about economic analysis is that 1 naira today is not 1 naira tomorrow. So money loses value over time. So you need to understand that depreciation of money or the interest. So the concept of time value of money talks about that $1 today is worth more than $1 in the future because money has earning powers. In other words, if today you put $1 in the bank where it earns interest, it is worth more than $1 tomorrow. This change in value over time is called the time value of money. So there are some basic terms we have to understand when it comes to time value of money. And so this is kind of foundation. I believe some of us must have come across all this, while others are new to it. But whichever way you belong, just stay with me and you're gonna get them clear. We have what we call annual value. And annual value is represented as A or AV. Remember that after doing this from first principle, we're going to move into Excel and also demonstrate how to do them in Excel. Please take note of that. So annual value is a series of equal cash flow, most often savings, that occur evenly spaced over time. For this course, we'll use end of year accounting, meaning that cash flow occurs only at the end of the year. A is also known as the annuity amount, also called annual worth. So here is either you call it annual value. If you buy a car for 5 million and the car will last for 5 years, on the straight line basis, the value per year is 1 million. That's what we're talking about. On a straight line, right? No depreciation, no time value of money. We will not apply time value of money and we will not apply life cycle costing. If you live in a house where you pay 12 million per year, it means the monthly value or the monthly worth or the monthly annuity is 1 million. That's just what this is talking about. So if you give me a sum of money and I split it over the worth over a year, that equal cash flow, that money is known as annual value. It could be daily value, it could be monthly value, but for the purpose of referencing, let us use annual. Because if you go to the bank and you are asking for loan, they will give you loan on the basis of annual interest. So we will look at our boundary condition based on a 12-month period. Now, we have what we call present value. Present value of money is what is the value of that money in today's dollar. What is the value of that money today? The value of 1 million today is different from the value of 1 million in 2022. It's different from the value of 1 million in 2025 or in 2026. So you can see that money has different value. The 1 million you put in your bank today, the same product you purchase today is not the same product you purchase by next year, by this time next year. All of us know that. And it's not the same purchasing power it had 1 year ago. But the value as of today, as we are speaking, is what we call the present value. And it's denoted as P or PV. When you come to Excel, to computer, you see it as PV. It is also called present worth. You can call it the present value. You can call it the present worth. There could be other terms you call it, depending on if you're in economic class, accounting class, or engineering class. But for now, this is the term that's being used in a business class because business class is more encompassing. Now, we have what we call the future value, denoted as F or FV. In Excel, they write it as FV. We say this is the value of an amount in the future. The interest rate in Nigeria or the inflation rate in Nigeria revolves around 20%. What it means is that somebody who is going to give you 1 million in January is the same thing as somebody giving you 1.2 million in December. That's what it means. So if in January you ask me what is the value of 1 million by December, and I know that the inflation rate in Nigeria is 20%. In other words, depreciation of the money is 20%. Then I'll tell you that by December, if you have to purchase the same thing, or if you have to want to give me the equivalent of this same 1 million, it has to be 1.2 million. In other words, I'm adding 200,000 on top. Or let me use 100 naira. 100 naira becomes 120 naira. Because there's a 20% that goes. I know that based on the depreciation, inflation in Nigeria, money will go down by 20%. So that 120, I'm telling you by January, is what we call the future value of money. Life cycle costing. Life cycle costing is the sum of the present value of all the cost of a system over its lifespan. Life cycle cost analysis is the overall process of including all of the associated costs and savings of an asset or project.
Hello, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you can switch off your video because we are losing your voice in between. So I'm sure switching off video will help the bandwidth.
I'll do that right away.
And also, if it's possible to project it on full screen because there are a lot of. So if it's on full screen, that means other things will not be popping up.
Yeah, but I might not know when to admit people.
Yeah, it's cool now.
Okay, so next is, now let me say this as engineers. If you are taking up a contract or a project, please be looking at the life cycle costing. It is the most modern tool for costing projects. Give you an instance. If I go now to buy a laptop, for instance, if I go now to buy a laptop, you get the point. And they ask you how much is the laptop, and you say the laptop is.
Which you are breaking out.
Okay, sorry. I'm
not even hearing you again.
Can you hear me clear now?
It comes off and on.
Okay.
You're not very clear. You're not very clear.
Okay, just hold on. Just hold on. Okay. Can you all hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, it's better now.
Yes, it's better.
Thank you.
Back to full screen, no, full screen.
Okay. I'm on full screen. Okay.
No, you should go on slide, not slide there. It will not take the screen.
Are you not seeing it clearly now?
It's not full. It's not on slide yet. Go on slide mode.
No, this is on PDF. This is PDF. PDF.
We are seeing it. We are seeing it.
Okay.
But
let's manage it this way.
It's not on full screen.
Okay. This is full screen. Aha, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so now we've discussed 3 times already. Now we're on the 4th one, and I'm talking about life cycle costing. I want to bring up to speed to a kind of a layman's understanding of this life cycle costing. If I go to buy a laptop now, and I purchase the laptop 200,000, there's always a way somebody comes and asks me, how much did you buy the laptop? I'll say 200,000. But I didn't consider the fact that after buying the laptop, I purchased the software antivirus. And when I purchased the antivirus, they told me I had to buy the charger separately. I bought the charger separately. I bought the mouse separately. I took a transport to that place. And then there's an annual maintenance cost or kind of antivirus update on that laptop that will cost me another 20,000 naira. At the end of the day, when I add up all these things, you find out that I bought the laptop for about 300,000 or 250,000. But when somebody asks me on the surface, I will say it's 200,000. That is not life cycle. So life cycle costing takes into consideration all the costs associated with the project in terms of the maintenance cost, in terms of the replacement cost, in terms of the upgrade cost, in terms of even cost of borrowing must be included. That will give you a more strategic cost to be used for your economic analysis. Then the next terms we need to understand is what we call net present value. We have talked about the present value, and we said the present value is the value of today's money, the value of today.
Uche, you need to cap it up that the life cycle costs end up with the commissioning. If it's an equipment, you have to decommission it. That element of the cost is part of it.
Okay, yes, decommissioning, commission and decommissioning, yes. So it captures the whole lifespan of the project. All right, now, net present value, from the word net, you already know there's a difference between 2 things, right? It's a difference between the present value of an investment and the future net cash flow, and the initial investment. So net present value is the value at the beginning, okay, subtracted from the value at the end. So what is the net? And if the net present value is 0, it means that the initial and the end is the same. So it means that the investment is the same thing as the expenses. So the net present value is also called net present worth. We'll not digress a little much, but because of the training, you understand it better. But just take note that we have present value and then we have net present value. The next one is we have what we call internal rate of return. We say the discount rate at which the present value of a project cost equals the present value of the project savings. So at that point, where the NPV is 0, the interest rate at that point is what we call IRR, internal rate of return. That's like a break-even point. If I'm placing something of worth 100 million and I'm adding another thing of 100 million, I mean, nothing has happened. So if at the end of the day, the cost of my investment and the cost of my cash outflow, if my savings and my cost are the same, it means the NPV is 0. The interest rates at that strategic point where NPV is 0 is what we call the internal rate of return. So these are the 2 correlations. These are the 2 relationships between the NPV and the internal rate of return. 2 of them have one thing in common. At the point where NPV is 0, that is your internal rate of return. The interest rate at that point is what we call internal rate of return. And of course, that is the point where an investor must make his own strategic decision. If the NPV is 0, you need to decide, am I going to the project or not? Because I'm getting nothing. You can only go into the project if it's a social investment, sort of, or a green investment. okay, so they can get maybe carbon credit or something. But if the NPV is positive, then you are good to go. If the NPV is negative, it means your cost is more, because NPV is savings minus cost. So if you save savings minus cost and you have a negative value, it means the cost is more. If you have a positive value, you have your savings is more. That means it's a good investment. So what I'm saying in essence is that there are at some point your NPV will be zero. It does not mean the project is not viable. It does not mean the project is not good, but it's an indicator for you to know how to proceed. You can still proceed if there are other social attachments to that project. Not every project is meant to be profitable. Some are to provide succor, some are to provide help, some are to provide for green economy and other things. Okay. Now, the other terms is interest rates. Interest rates can come in different ways. You can call it finance rates. You can call it, what do you call it again? You can call it borrowing rate. There are many things you can call it. Interest rates, finance rates, discount rates, they all mean the same thing. They just mean the same thing. Okay, so it's what indicates by what margin or by what value is money moving in space from the future to now. But however, we have a particular special interest rate, which we call minimum acceptable rate of return. They say it is the rate determined by a company or organization to be the minimum allowed or required for investment projects. So every company have a certain rate which they uphold, and they call it the minimum acceptable rate of return. Now, when somebody can say, if I can't see 50% profit in this project, I'm not going into it. So say, if I can see 20%, I'm okay. Because some will say, due to inflation rates in Nigeria, due to non-payments by government, if I'm not seeing 40% interest in a project, I'm not going into it. That interest that you have benchmark, so to say, is known as your minimum attractive rate of return or minimum acceptable rate of return, or that is your hurdle rate, or that is your desired interest rate, or that is your investment interest rate, whatever term you use. But the understanding is that this is like your own baseline. Anything below this, I'm not doing. Because through those values, you have factored in a lot of unforeseen contingencies and variables. I was telling some people, I said, if Julius Berger does not see 50% in their profit in their contract, they will not do, because they've been in the system and they understand. We some other smaller contractors, give them 30%, they will take. Because if you have a 50% margin, you know too well that you're borrowing money at, say, 20%, right? And you know that money, this borrowing is going to be delayed, and it will not come as at when due. So it will incur another 10%. And then, person that brought you job will definitely ask for 5% or 2% or whatever. So by the time you do this, you discover that out of the 50%, what you are actually going home with might be something 20% or 25%. That is why companies will always have, when they see a project, they look at the life cycle costing, and they didn't see a clear-cut minimum attractive rate of return, they don't go into it. They will have depreciation. Okay, so depreciation is not a cash flow. It is only used for accounting purposes. It's good for us to have depreciation because there are some things that then we have the payback period. It's simply a number of years needed to recover an initial investment. And in payback period, we have what we call the simple payback period, which is simply means the present value divided by the annuity. Okay, I bought a car for 5 million, and every year I will make 1 million from it. So it's easy to my payback period, 5 years, so to say. It means 5/1. So I mean, it's a straight line thing. But we have the discounted payback period. And this is calculated after discounting the net cash flow using the minimum attractive or acceptable rate of return. So the discounted payback period is the one that you have considered the time value of money. You have considered your interest rate, cost of borrowing, okay, and the depreciation of the money. Then we have salvage value.
Sorry, excuse me. Can I ask something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you go back to that your payback period?
Good.
So what exactly is the P? Sorry.
Is the present value.
Present value.
Investment. Yes.
Okay. And A is the what?
Annual value.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Annual value, annual income, or annual what? So salvage value is the value of the equipment at the end of its lifespan. If it is positive, that means you can sell it. If it is negative, it means you can't sell it. That means you have to even pay to take it out. All right. So salvage value is usually ignored. We assume the salvage value is 0, right? It's not positive, it's not negative. You just believe it's like battery used in solar systems. Okay, at the end of the day, they are just gone, right? You just forget about it, they're gone. Or your solar panel, after 20 years, nothing can be done about it again. Okay. Then another terms again is life of a project. Remember, a project is everything that has a beginning and an end. So every project have a lifespan. So always take note of that. Every project have a lifespan. So that lifespan is denoted as N. So N represents the lifespan of a project. Now it's good for us to know all these terms. Why? Because when we start using them, you will not be taken aback, right? Okay, now to solve any economic problem in terms of business investment appraisal, in terms of economic analysis, there are 5 key variables that must be present. 5 key variables you have to look out for. Usually 2 of those variables will be given, and you'll be asked to find any of the 3. However, you'll be given 1. So the first 3 items, the present value, the future worth, and the annual value, are things that you'll be asked to find. The number of interest periods will always be given. The interest rate on the project will always be given. So N and I are always present. And then you'll be given 1 of either the present value, the future value, or the annual value. I want you to look at this thing as a straight line. The beginning of the line is the present value. The end of the line is the future value. And then in between the beginning and the end is the annual worth, which could be annual worth after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years, until it gets to the end. I don't know if I can do my whiteboard. We still have whiteboard. Okay, let me not go there. I need to go there anyway. Okay. So let's continue. So, like I said, these are the 5 economic indicators: the present value, the future value, the annual value. And usually you'll be given N and I. They're always there. Every project have an interest rate. If you don't have an interest rate, use the national interest or the inflation rate, right? Then being a project, it has an end date, has a beginning and has an end. So it has a lifespan. And that lifespan is an indicator of the interest period. It could be monthly, it could be 12 months, it could be 1 year, it could be daily. So we talk about cash flow. We say that net cash flow is always receipts or revenue minus disbursements or outflow. Inflow minus outflow will give you the net cash flow. So a cash flow diagram looks like this. So this is the present value. This is the number of the lifespan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4th year, 3rd year, 2nd year. Then if you are moving from the 4th year to any number of year n, that means you are projecting the future value. So here you say P represents the present cash flow. It may be positive, it may be negative, right? Up or down. Here, A represents an annual cash flow. Okay? It could also be positive, it could be negative. And then the future represents the future, usually at the end of the project. So let's take an example, for instance. You could be asked, what is the present value of 10,000 naira to be received 5 years in the future? The interest rate or the discounting rate is 10%. So, in other words, this is at year 5, this is $10,000. If you start discounting it at the rate of 10%, it means that 5 years ago or 5 years back, the value of that money is actually $6,209,000. Also, conversely, if we are in year 0 and we are looking at the value of this money in 5 years' time, and the inflation rate or the interest rate or the discount rate or the hurdle rate is at 10%, or increasing at 10%, depending on where we are starting from or from year 5. After the 4th year, if it is appreciating, if it's accumulating interest, after year 3, it is 8,002. After year 4, it is 9,009. And in 5 years, it is now 10,000. This is just a layman value of money, moving money over time. Someone will be wondering, why is this important in renewable energy and solar PV design or energy auditing we're talking about? Because you need to understand how money depreciates, so that when you are investing 10,000 today, you don't just say 10,000 today is going to be 10,000 tomorrow. No, that would be what will make you invest that money.
Sorry,
now.
the audio is no longer very clear. The audio is no longer very clear. It seems to be breaking.
I concur. The audio is bad now.
Okay. All right. Now, we are going to look at 5 different ways of calculating your economic returns. The first one is what we call the single payment compound factor, right? Now, the mathematical equation, in other words, this is if you're asking me for the future value and I'm giving the present value. So if I'm to find the future value of an amount of money and I know the present value, I will multiply the present value by 1 plus the interest rate raised to the power the number of years. Most of us as engineers have come across this. But I can tell you that calculating this is no longer in vogue. What is in vogue now is making use of interest table. So we have interest table that everything inside these brackets have been summarized as a single value put inside the table. And so once you pick that value, you simply multiply that value by the present value. It will automatically give you the future value. Because if you go further, you find out that these formulas are not something we can cram. So look at these mathematical expressions. In our level, at our level, nobody will ask you to start cramming all this. It is too ambiguous, it's too complex. Rather, we would like you to know about the formulas. If you understand the formula, all you need to do is to go to your interest table. Everything inside this parentheses will be given to you as a value, as a single value. So all you need to do is to multiply the present value by that value, and you get your value. So no need for you to cram all these mathematical expressions. We tried doing them while we were in the university. Nobody does them again. Rather, I will show you what we call interest table, which you can download anytime online. The interest table will have already taken care of everything inside these brackets and just give you one single value. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me make one or two persons also. Okay, they're joining. So 5 of them. The first one is when you are given the present value and you are asked to find the future value. This is the formula you use. The second one is when you are given, which is the opposite of the other one. When you are given the future value and you are asked to find the present value, this is the formula you use. Remember, you don't need to cram all these formulas, but it's good for you to understand how it is done. So this first one is talking about finding the future value on a single payment system. In other words, I pay you, I give you money, and after 5 years, you give it back to me. There's no in between. That is a single payment. I give you money in January, by Christmas, by December, you give it back to me. There's nothing like how much you can pay by February, by March, by April. So that is what we call single payment. It's just a single payment. I give you 100 naira in January, by December, after 12 months, you just give me 1.1 naira 20 kobo. Because the interest rate is 20%. Is 20%, yes. Okay, but there are sometimes that I will give you money, I'll borrow money, and then you have the option of paying every month. So as you are paying, it is being discounted. In other words, the money, it will be compounding. So if by January I give you, you have to pay me back at the end of January, the amount you pay will be less than the amount you pay if you now pay me back after March or after April. So the thing is compounded. So we have the single and we have the compounding. Single payments and the compounding payment, or uniform or series payment. Sorry, that's the word, series payment. Okay, so in series payments, if I'm asked to find the present value and I'm given the annual value, I will just multiply it by everything inside these brackets, which I said you don't need to cram, you don't need to be kind of scared about this formula. It's just for you to make use of the interest table. And the interest table will be denoted like this. So this one says, I am looking for the present value. I am given the annual value. I'm given the interest rates, and I'm given the lifespan of the project, or the number of years, or the number of interest period. That's what it means. Huh? Then the fourth one, we have what we call capital recovery factor. The capital recovery factor is simply, I am looking for the annual value, and I'm being given the present value. Then we have what we call the sinking fund factor. The sinking fund is when I am looking for the annual value and I have the future value. Sinking fund, for instance, let me give you instance, for instance, I have a child and I want to send him to university in the next 5 years. School fees in university is $50,000. So the question is, how much should I be saving every year that will be yielding interest, so that in 5 years' time, I would have saved $50,000. You'll find out that that amount is not what you are thinking. It's not $10,000 every year. If you ask a layman, he'll tell you, okay, now, just every year you save 10,000. in 5 years, you're going to get 50,000. No, it can be less than that. It could be because the 10,000 I saved in the first year at a particular interest rate, by the second year, it would be around 13,000. Then I received the 13,000. After 1 year, it's now around 16,000. So at the end of the day, you find out that it's not going to be the way I see it. Okay, let me also use this two-sided example. I want to save 10,000 naira so I can study in Germany in 5 years' time. How much? And UBA Bank says they can give me interest rate at 10% every year. So it means if I save 6,209 naira today, in 5 years' time, I will get 10,000. Because after the first year, UBA pays me interest rate of 10%. My money is now 6,800. After the second year, they pay me 10% of 6,800. My money is now 7,500. They pay me 10% of 7,500 and add it to my principal. My money after the third year is now 8,200. They will pay me another 10% of 8,200, add it to my principal. In the fourth year, my money is now 9,000. 9,000. Then they pay me 10% of 9,000, add to my principal. In the fifth year, I will easily walk into the bank and collect my 10,000. If they have agreed to pay me 10% interest rate. That's exactly what sinking fund means. You sink a fund, you don't touch it, then after a while, your target is 10,000, and you sunk 6,000 at interest rate of 10%. If you flip it, it becomes capital recovery. In other words, I need to recover 10,000. How much should I save and at what interest? So that is that. So in summary, when you have, like we said, I is always known. Okay, I can be called interest rate, discount factor, minimum acceptable rate of return, or in some cases, internal rate of return. Right? So using our table, so this page is trying to explain to you how you will understand and solve these questions when they come. If you see something like this in your interest table, what it's trying to teach you, show you, is that whatever that is up here before the parentheses is what you are looking for. And whatever that is down is what you are given. So whatever that is here under the parentheses, it is the variables you are given. You are given, in this case, you are given the annual worth. Of course, you are given the interest rate, and you are given the lifespan or the number of period the interest rate will occur. And whatever that is here is what I want to know. So in this case, I want to know the present value. Find P, what this thing means. Find P given A, I, and N. So the 6 variables are summarized here. The single payment compound factor means to find the future value given the present value. You represent it in a formula like this if you want to use the interest table. If you want to use mathematics to find it, you represent it this way. Many of us are used to this. We all did engineering economy. We all know this. For instance, if I want to find the future value of 100 naira after 1 year at interest rate of 20%, how do you do it? This is 1. Interest rate is 20%. 20% means 0.2. So 1 plus 0.2 means 1.2. The N is 1 because I want to find it after 1 year. So if I put 1 here, I put 0.2 here, it will be 100 times 1.2. And that will give you 120. So what it means is that the future value of 100 naira at the beginning of 2024 is going to be 120 naira at the end of 2024 if the interest rate is 20%. Gentlemen, that makes a perfect sense. Okay? So the same applies to other economic indicators. Here is the present value. You have to find the present value, but you are given the future value. So you write it this way. I'm to find the present value, I'm giving the future value, and I go to interest table, I'll find where P is given, P is unknown, F is given, I is given, N is given. So the same thing applies to all of them. In this one, I'm to find the P, I'm giving A. So if you look at all of them, you find out that you're either finding P, F, or A. And you're either giving P, F, or A. It's very simple. Is that I'm looking for the future value of the investment, or I'm looking at the present value so that let me know how I invest, or I'm looking at what comes in between, which is the annual value. Are we together?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Thank you. So now, let me just also use this to demonstrate it again for us. Now, a present value of an amount is 100 naira. The interest rate is 15%, and the project will last for 5 years. You know, when I'm saying all these things, it looks strange, but when we start doing the economic calculation, you understand it, right? This can, let me say this, I'm supposed to buy a split AC unit for 100,000, and the bank that's giving me the money says they will charge me 15% to give me the loan, and the AC will last for only 5 years. That's how to represent it here. Very simple. So now the problem now says, for the single payment factor, after 5 years, what is the value of this 100,000? You know what that show tells you? It's also telling you that if you fail to pay back this money of 100,000, that in 5 years' time, there's a certain amount of money you pay. And that amount of money is 200,000. So if I borrow money at 15% for 5 years, and I did not pay back, let me know that I'm going to pay back 200,000 after 5 years. And that is why when I give you a value, something of say 100,000, and I say pay me back at 15% interest, and you have 5 years to pay me back, don't you ever expect that after 5 years, I'm going to collect back 100,000? No. So when you do the calculation, you're going to get something close to 201,000. I'll show you how it is done. I'm going to demonstrate it. So this is the formula. The formula is that you are looking for the future value. The present value is 100,000. The interest rate is 15. So if you put here, if you put 5 here, you put 0.15 here, and you do the calculation, you're going to get this. But if you use the interest table, this are the values the interest table will give you. Then, if you do the opposite of this, in other words, somebody says, should I give you 200,000 naira in the future? Or how much should I give you today? Which is the opposite of this. So in other words, we are now looking for, we are making P the subject of the formula for the first part. If you make P the subject of the formula, it means, in other words, the future value is known, and you are looking for the present value. You use a value from our table, multiply by the 100, it will take you back to 100. So you can see that this and this are the same. They are just at both ends of a straight line. The value at 5 years is this. The value at 1 year is this. So in other words, you can move money over time. You can understand the value of money at every strategic point. You can say this is the value of this money at this point. So you begin to do your economic analysis, begin to make your choice. Your son asks you, he's going to do a 5-year course in university. Okay? Do you want to give him 100,000 now, put inside the bank? Or do you want to give him, what amount will you give him after 5 years? So it's either you give him 100,000 now, or give him 200,000 after 5 years. If the inflation or if the interest rate is 50%. So we're going to demonstrate all that in a short while. Then, this other one talks about if we know the present worth. So you can still know. So if you don't want to give me 100,000 now, you can be giving me 29,832 naira every year. It's the same thing. Now, a layman will tell you 100,000 on a straight line without considering time value of money. 100,000, okay, just give him 20,000 every year. So in other words, every year give him 20,000. No, it's not the same, sir. It's not the same. If you are to give him the money based on annually, the money you are supposed to be giving him will be 29,832 naira. If you don't want to give it lump sum, you want to make it in form of a uniform series. You want to be giving it as a uniform series. Let me show you where this thing applies. It means that if you want to buy a car for 100,000, and the car company says our interest rate, our minimum attractive rate of return is 15%, and you say, oh, I don't have 100,000 to pay for this car, but I want to be paying you annually. How much is that? That amount is 29,832 naira. So instead of you paying 100,000 naira once because you don't have it, you can be paying 29,832 naira. That's why in many European countries, those of us that are abroad, maybe some of us here, those of us, you don't buy cash, you don't pay for house, you don't go and buy a house. The mortgage companies, the car indoor companies will come to you and make you offers like this. And they'll give you a car that is worth $100,000. Every year, you simply pay them 29,832. This 29,832 is annual. I can even break it down to monthly. You see the specific amount of money you'll be paying every month. Because you know, in Europe, in the Western world, everything is regimented. Your gas bill, your rent, your internet bill, everything. So as soon as you're collecting your salary, they will just go to your bank account and deduct the money from source. So that's why life is easy somehow, because all you need to do is to make sure you're earning a particular specific income. The car company will come, take theirs, the rent will come, take theirs, and every other person will come and take whatever that belongs to them. You get the point? So, any question? Let me break here, and some people are just asking me questions. They can't join. Please, any question? Exactly 11. It's like we're midway. Okay, so if you go, interest table is a common thing. It's allowed in every exam, in every of real life. So here, this is one of the most comprehensive I've ever seen. So this is how it looks. All of them are the same. Like this one is talking about 0.25 interest. So let me go to, this one is talking about half 0.5 interest rates, right? So that's how it is until you go to about 30%. This one is 0.75. Then from there, they move to 1%. So this is 1% interest rate. So all the tables are repetitive. Just each page represents a different interest rate. This one is 1.25%. This one is 1.5%. This one is 1.75%. This one is 2%. So from 2% now I start moving in value of 1. So this is 2% interest. This is 2.5% interest. This is 3% interest. This is 3.5% interest. 4% interest, right? So all of them are just the same thing, 4.5%. So no need to start going through. So let's just pick one particular one that reflects Nigeria. Looking at 20%, right? Or 10%. Okay, let's use 10%. So when you come to this interest table, that's how all of them look like. You can download thousands of them online. Here you have the number of years. So this or number of accounting year, not just number of year. Remember, we're talking about year. How about projects that last 2 months, 6 months? So it means this N becomes number of months. Number of months in this case. While if it's annually, it becomes number of years. Okay, it can even be number of days. It could be 15 days project or 15 days something. Okay, so this becomes day 1, day 2, day 3. As far as the interest rate is computed, if it's a daily interest rate computation, you assume that here is daily. If it is monthly, you assume that here is monthly. If it's annually, then you assume here is annually. Now, if you look here, you see it talks about single payments, and there are 2 single payments. Compound amount factor, present worth factor. These 2 are just the 2 extreme ends of a straight line. If you multiply a value by 1.1 and you multiply the result by 0.9, it will give you the same value. So these 2 values are just the same. These are like 2 sides of a coin. If you have to find the future value and you are given the present value, and you are told that it's a single payment thing, one-off payment thing, you use these 2 variables. You focus on these 2. In other words, find P, F, given P. Okay, this is it, F given P. So you come and check it down here. These are the factors. Then if you are given P and you are asked to find F, you use any of these factors. But in most of our daily work and economic design, we'll be making use of uniform payment series. Uniform payment series. When World Bank deployed home systems and they gave it to some company to scale out, they knew that if you ask people to bring 2 million naira to install solar, it will be hard for them. So what most of them did was to come up with a uniform payment series. Uniform payment series. So that when they deploy these 2 million, they will not tell you how much you pay monthly. I think MTN tried it some time ago. But like I said, in the Western world, you can walk into any shop, they'll give you the latest iPhone 6 or iPhone 15. But they will tell you how you'll be paying it. Okay, the iPhone is worth 2 million naira. You choose whether you want to pay after 1 year or you want to pay after 2 years. If it's after 2 years, they will now tell you how much you'll be paying every month. Bet you it's going to be more expensive. But because they are giving you a uniform payment series and you are paying as you're earning your salary, it becomes easy for you. Like I said, that's why the Western world is easy. America, Europe is easy because everything is just, rent is paid monthly, unlike in Nigeria. You have to pay annually. So that is it. Then these last 2, don't even look at it at this point. It's talking about arithmetic gradient. It does not apply in our discourse. So forget about these 2. Forget about these 2. So focus on the remaining 4 inside for now. Although in the test, everything about these 2 has been well explained, which I also said verbally. If interest rate is 10% and you borrow 100 naira, after 1 year, you're going to pay 110 naira because you're going to multiply 100 multiplied by 1.1. So it's straightforward. And that's why all of us, after this period, you find out that if you have borrowed somebody 1 million in January, by December, the worth of that 100 million is 800,000. You can prove it here. Or 900,000 if it's 10%, but I know it is not 10%. Inflation in Nigeria is not 10%. It's minimum of 20%. So if you go to 20% interest, this is 20%. If the money is now worth 830,000, in other words, if you multiply this by 1 million, it means after 1 year, at inflation or interest rate of 20%, it means 1 million naira in January, it's automatically 830,000 by December. Then conversely, you who is the borrower, you who is the lender, if you lend somebody 1 million naira in December, by December, in January, by after 12 months or after 1 year, if the person is to pay you back, he shouldn't pay you anything less than 1.2 million. This is just what the interest table does. It's so quick, it's so automatic, and you don't need to cram all those formulas. It's absolutely not necessary. So all I need to do now is to bring up some exercises. We'll do some today. At the end of our class, we'll refresh this again. But if time permits too, I can also finish where we stopped today, so that Chima will not start from the calculation again. So let's just see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. But I know that you can't finish this in one Saturday. It's meant to be for 2 weekends. And that is why 8 weekends is for this training. First 3 weekends for energy auditing, second 3 weeks for renewable energy, then do 2 last week, cut across everybody. Okay. Now, let me go back. So let us solve this one, this exercise now. So this exercise now, please bring your pen, bring out your pen, or biro, whatever you have, or let me just use this as an example, right? Now, let me coin the question my own way. I'm to borrow 100,000 at interest rate of 15% for a period of 5 years. So at the end of 5 years, how much is this money worth? Assuming I didn't pay back any money. I did not pay back money means I'm talking about the single payment. So I'll go to my interest table. When I go to my interest table, I'll go to 15%. What determines which table I use is the interest rate. So this is 15%. Now, what am I looking for here? I'm looking for the future value.
Future value now. Future value.
I've been given the present value. So look at, just know the formula. Okay. So if I go to this interest table, you will see that I am looking for the future value. Look at, so I'm using the table 1, row 1, column 1. I'm using column 1. I'm looking for the future value and I'm giving the present value. After how many years? 5 years. So I'll come to number 5.
4, 5.
And the value is now 2.011. If you now multiply it by 100, you're going to get 201,000. So if I take a back loan at 50% and I did not pay back after 5 years, I'm going to pay double of that money. Then let's do the converse, the reverse. The reverse is the money is now 201,000, right? Somebody said, I want to give you 201,000 in 5 years' time. I said, no, I don't want it in 5 years' time. I want it now, today, because I need the money now. So the question now is, what is the equivalent of the money today? So I go back to that interest table again. I go back to the interest table again, still on 15% page, right? This time I'm using the present worth. In other words, I am asking for how much should I invest now to have 201,000 in 5 years? Since First Bank said they can be giving me 5%. So I go under 5 years. The ratio is 0.4972. So please bring out the calculator from your phone. If you multiply 0.4972 by 201,000, you're going to get approximately 100,000. So in other words, if I'm looking for 200,000 in 5 years, where the bank has promised me 15% every year, all I need to do is put in 100,000 today and just leave it there. Don't touch it. Don't take any. Leave it there as a single payment, single one-off payment. In 5 years' time, I'll get my money. So, I hope no question. It's very self-explanatory, very understandable. Then, somebody now said, Engineer Uche, you want to sell this car for me at 100,000. I don't have 100,000 to give you one off. Please, how much am I giving you every year? So that by 5 years, I have paid up the money. That is the solar thing I was talking about. I gave you a proposal to deploy a 2 kilowatt solar for you at 100,000. There's no way you can get that money. And you know your salary is about 60 or 70,000 per annum. Okay? So I now have to prorate it for you. So the question now is, if I don't have 100,000 to pay, how much will I be paying at 15%? So that by 5 years, I would have paid up that 100,000. So what you are asking for is annual what? Annual what of that investment? You are asking for the annual value. What is the annual value of this 100,000 naira car? So you are looking for A. And what are you giving? You are giving P, the present value. The present value of this thing is 100,000 today. So we are now saying, what is the future value? Are we together? Okay. I've added him. Somebody's at the room, on the waiting room. So now we go to the table again, still on 15%. We are looking for what we call capital recovery. We want to find A, and we have been given P. What is the P? 100,000. We want to recover. What is the capital recovery factor? Those are doing MBA. That's what they call it in the MBA class. I've not done one before, but I know that's what they call it. What is the capital recovery factor? How do I recover the capital of 100,000 I'm going to invest now at 15% after 5 years? How much should I be recovering every year so that I don't run at a loss? So that my MPV will be 0. So that my internal rate of return will be 15%. So this is how to change the question. Whatever way it comes, just understand the first principle and those things I've said for now. So in this case, we will go to the capital recovery factor column because we want to find the A, the annual worth of 100,000 after 5 years, payable in 5 installments. That's the word. Payable in 5 equal installments. That's another word. Series. It must be equal. It's like a mortgage. It must be equal. So I come here, I go to my 5 years, knowing fully well that I'm in 15%. After 5 years, it says the table factor, quality factor, is 0.2983. 0.2983 is the table factor. I will simply multiply it with the given P, the given initial investment, the given present value. So by the time I multiply it by it, I will get 29,832. What it means is that if I cannot pay 100,000, then I can be paying 89,832 every year. And let me tell you, you can even break it for that every month. Yes, you can even break it for that to every month. And you know the value to use. And let me just put it to you. If you want to break it over to every month, the easiest way to do it is that you now assume, I don't want you to confuse us. If I'm to get the monthly, I will now say in 1 year, there are 12 months. So if there are 12 months, I will now multiply 5 by 12. It becomes 60. Then I'll go to the interest rate. Hold on. I'll go to the interest rate. I'll divide the interest rate by 12. You know, when you go to bank and bank says want to give you interest at 30%, that 30% is for 12 months. If you want to know the month, you divide by 12. You get the point? That's why sometimes as contractors, as consultants, you don't take annual loans, you take quarterly. If, for instance, I know that interest rates in Nigeria now, unfortunately, is 30%. So bad that I wonder who will be taking bank loan. And then, so if the bank loan is say 30%, it means quarterly is 7.5%. So I can take quarterly loan, 3 months, every 3 months I pay 7.5%. Okay? The only problem is that hidden charges will finish. Then, if it's 30 divided by 12, is 2.5. Did you see it? So I can actually apply, in this case, in this our own case now, I can actually say 15 divided by 12. It's giving me 1.25%. And then 5 multiplied by 60, multiplied by 12, sorry, will give me 60. So if I go to the interest table of 1.25% and at N 60, I will automatically get the monthly payment I will pay, so that at the end of 5 years, I would have cleared the debt of 100,000 at agreed interest rate. So let me just see if I can try that. I don't think the table is up to 60. I don't think it's not up to 60. It's up to 60. So let me go to 1.25%. Yeah. Hold on. 1.25%. Yeah, this is it. 1.25% capital recovery. Then I go to 60 months. 60 months. Remember, the interest rate is now monthly. 15% annual translates to 1.25 monthly. I remember a few years ago, GT Bank was giving interest rate at 1.5% monthly. I remember also that some microfinance banks are giving interest 5%, 5% monthly, right? Yes. And if you look at it, that is 60.5%. That's huge, man. Okay. So at 60, capital recovery factor is giving me 0.0238. 0.0238. So if I multiply 0.0238 by 100,000. So I can be paying 2,380 naira per month. Hold on. Let me see if I can see. Used to have call white table. Used to have white screen. Sorry, this Zoom have changed a bit. Okay. I can use Microsoft Word. I can use Microsoft Word. Can you all see my screen? Yes. So it's good we emphasize on this today, so that by next week everybody will be on board. So that by next week we'll start solving all the assignment and all the exercises. Okay, so now, this is it. So we are saying now, to solve this, I will simply say, hold on. To solve this, I'm looking for the annual value, A, and I'm being given I'm looking for the annual value, but I was given the present value. The present value was 100,000. It's 100,000. And the N
5 years.
5 years. And interest rates, sorry.
15%.
15% is the sorry, gentlemen. So the I, no. %15. So if you remember, we've been given one of the three F, A, P. So P have been given, and we are looking for A. So to present it, we say A, find A, given P, you simply multiply it by interest table, where you are to find A, given P, given N, given I. This is how to represent this equation. In fact, sorry to say, it is N, small n in percentage, comma, then small I, no, small I in percentage, and then small n or big N, whatever. So everything inside this bracket can be found in your interest table. All you need to do is go to interest table and extract a value and multiply by this. So in our case now, A will now be P is 100,000 given, multiply by, you now go to your interest table. You now go to your interest table at 15%. Under 5. And under find A given P. CA find A given P. Take note of this. 0.2983. 0.2983. Multiplied by 100. So it means I can be paying 29,830 per year. But if my client says, oh, I want to pay per month, it means this same formula will simply change. And it will become, for 15%, it becomes 15 divided by 12, which will be 1.25%. And 5 years automatically becomes 5 times 6, which will be, 5 times 12.
60.
Are we together? So I want to find out, if I decide to pay monthly, like they do in Europe, in Germany, and other countries, how much will I be paying yearly and monthly? So that in 5 years' time, I have paid up back my mortgage of 100,000 at 15% interest. Remember, if it is in Nigeria, where interest rate is very high, 15%, if you didn't pay the money If you didn't buy it today at 100,000, after 5 years, just calculate your 201,000 and pay. But you find out that if the interest rate is low, it might not be much. That's why in abroad, in Western country, nobody pays house outrightly because interest rate for mortgage can be, in America, interest rate for mortgage is below 1%. So why do you, in fact, some state offers 0.6% because the banks have money and government give them money for that to disperse to help housing, mass housing or whatever. But in our own country, I mean, no CBN support. So everyone is on his own. That's why if you didn't buy a house today, 100 million, in 5 years' time, you're going to buy that house 200 million because the interest rate is so high. In fact, with the interest rate, with the inflation rate on Nigeria that is above 20% now, maybe it's in 3 years. So a house of 50 million today is going to be worth 100 million in 3 years' time. That's what it means. Okay, so let's go. So in this case now, we now go back to our table again. This time around, we go.
The audio is bad. The audio is really bad.
I'm afraid I can't help it. Hello, can you hear me now?
It has to do with your mic, not really your internet connection. Maybe you're a bit.
I'm a bit far from the system. Okay, you can hear me now, I guess. It's better now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's go to monthly. I think we want to pay monthly. So we go to 1.25%. 1.25. Yeah, here is it. So 1.25%, we're still looking for A given P. This time around, we'll go down to 60 months. After 60 months, because the interest is compounding monthly, that 1.25% is monthly. So after 60 months, we're having 0.0238. So here, the monthly, A, monthly. The other one is annually. Is now equal to 100,000 or P monthly or whatever. P has no monthly or whatever. Multiply by 0.0238. 0.0238 multiplied by 100,000. 2380. Okay, so this is what it gives me. So it's either I pay 29,800 per year, or I pay every month when I collect my $5,000 as my salary. I just pay up 2,380, which is about 50% of my salary as my mortgage. And after 5 years, I'm going to own the house. Okay. So if you want to know how much you would have paid, of course, it will be this multiplied by 60. So that will be 142,800. Huh? Are you with me? Then let me put it this way. There's something to learn here. This is annually. Annual. Annually. So if I'm to know the real amount I've paid, it will be 12 times 29,830. 29,830. Huh? Multiplied by 12.
No, multiplied by 5. Since it's annual, 5 years.
Sorry.
Is it 5 or 12? Sorry. Okay.
It's 5, sorry. 5. How much I would have paid? Thank you, sir. These are really following. I appreciate that. 149. Gentlemen, there's something to learn here. If I borrow 100,000 at 15%, and I did not pay back any money, and I want to just pay back the whole thing in a single payment after 5 years, I'm paying about 201,000. Done that one. If I decide to say every year I pay back a certain amount of money, the total cost after 5 years on me will be 149,000 as against 201,000. If I now say no, I want to be paying again monthly for the 5-year period, by the end of the 5 years, I would have paid only 142,800. So the choice is yours. You see why mortgage is something that works.
No, sorry, I think there's a mistake there.
Okay, sir, go ahead.
If we are paying 29,832, it cannot be over. Sorry?
It can be what?
I said, just listen. I said, if we are paying 29,832, it can be over 5 months now. You can multiply by 5. You're multiplying by 12. That will give you 1 year.
No, we are saying no. This is annual. No, 5 years now.
That's the annual. That's the annual.
This one is annual.
By 5.
I also made that mistake.
Sorry?
So it's for 5 years. That 29,000
Yes, for 5 years.
Is a yearly payment.
Repayment. Yearly repayment.
It's yearly repayment. Okay.
Yes, yearly repayment.
The tenure is 5 years, yeah.
It's 5 years.
It's okay, no problem.
So Uche.
Yes.
The analogy the learning you try to bring out is realistic, because that's why if the money is 100,000 and you pay now, it is 100,000.
Thank you,
sir.
Pay
monthly, you incur some interest on it, some extra money.
Exactly.
You pay annually, it goes up. Then if you go pay at the end of 5 years, nothing come up from your pocket, you're more or less doubling the money. So that's why they say if you don't have anything to do with the money, don't borrow it. Don't borrow to go and marry wife. Don't borrow to go and do chieftaincy title. You borrow to invest, so that when your profit will offset your interest. Otherwise, it is a no business to borrow money for a extravagancy show off.
Sir, are you talking to Nigeria?
I'm talking to all of us.
I'm talking to Nigeria, sir. Not to some of us. Some of us don't borrow money, sir. If we ever borrow, we borrow on a monthly basis. After 1 month, we pay you back.
But even marriage is an investment now.
Investment. That is what they call liability. It's asset and it's a liability asset. You understand? But if you borrow to invest, that you have a turnover. Yeah. People who invest properly, they say they don't spend capital, they spend their interest or they spend their profit.
Okay. So before we go, next week, we're going to solve a lot of exercises. Today is just to lay the, thank you, sir. Today is just to lay the foundation. I think this thing is something we should look into. So that let it influence how we borrow money and what we do when we borrow. It's very important. Also, this is not to teach us to become Shylock. But I know that if you are borrowing somebody money that will pay you after 1 year, and he's paying you back the same money, you are the one losing, all due respect, right? It is absolutely not possible that you recover that money at the end of 1 year. In fact, the way the thing is going in Nigeria, 1 million in January is 700,000 by December. But then, what can we do? Now, I feel like we should solve just one so that some of us will appreciate it. Now, what we are solving now, we're going to solve it again next week. Not just solve it, we'll solve it and solve it to Excel. Well, let me just give us a head up so that some of us will begin to appreciate the whole thing. Now, I'll repeat this question next week, but before we close the class, I want us to just look at this so that we understand it. Then I'll go back and do some revision. this is like we have done the foundation for the thing. Then next week we'll solve multiple questions. As we solve multiple questions, the thing will begin to make sense and you begin to appreciate the whole thing. A new lighting system will last 6 years and will save 5,000 per year. I want you to begin to see where is the P, where is the A, where is the F, because N and I will always be present. They are like nominal values. They must always be there. If they are not there, you have to make assumptions. So
our N is 6 years, then our I is 15.
No, yes. Sorry, our N is 6 years. Thank you.
Yeah.
He said it will save 5 years per year. He said the company purchasing it requires a hurdle rate of 15%. He said in order to meet the company's financial requirements, how much can they pay for the lighting system? My question now is, what is given and what are we looking for? On your mic. What is given and what are we looking for? You have the question, so let me go back to something like this.
Sorry. Okay, the question is
looking for the
that we have, right?
The question is in your system. Look at the question. I can't project two screens. Well, I'm projecting this to guide you. A company want to purchase a system that will last for 5, 6 years. After 6 years, the salvage value is 0. And it will save them 5,000 every year. Then they're not asking you how much should that equipment be worth. So I'm not asking you, out of these 3 variables, which one is present, which one is absent? What are you looking for? What is 5,000?
The present what amount of money?
No, sir.
5,000 is the
future amount. Future what?
No,
5,000 is A. Is a series of consecutive is A.
It's a uniform.
5,000. It's
It's
per
a
year.
uniform payment, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 5,000.
5,000
What
is
A
A.
means is that by the time we finish our course, you understand it. A is like how much you will save in your solar when you have deployed solar. Before you are using so bulb, now you're using bulb B. And the bulb you're using before is 100 watts. The bulb you're using now is 10 watts. So the difference is 90 watts. So 90 watts times 8 hours a day multiplied by year. When you do the calculation, which we're going to learn, you now came up that your savings is now 5 years. What it means is that 5,000 is your profit.
Yes.
This is what the equipment you're going to deploy, but you don't know the cost of the equipment. So now I tell you, what are we looking for?
Future what?
Okay.
No future what, sir?
The thinking fund, this thing.
No, are you looking for the P present what?
Present what?
Yes, it's the present what that we're.
Thank you. Because you're looking for how much are you going to pay now, today? Somebody brings you a proposal and say, "Okay, buy this thing, it's 5,000 naira a year."
We are looking for the present what of the project.
Yeah, we're looking for present what so that you know whether it is worth it. By the time you know the present what, that present what will guide you. If the present what is 100,000 and they ask you to pay 150,000, lie. But the present what is 100,000 and they ask you to pay 60,000. Beautiful. Because present what is telling you that this project it should not worth more than this. This solar you want to deploy you shouldn't spend more than this. If this is what is going to bring you in return. Let's solve it now. So now let's solve it. Let me list all the variables. We have P, we have A, we have F, we have N, we have I. Which one is present? What are we looking for here?
P.
A,
We're looking for
F.
P.
F, not applicable. Is that not how we say it?
Yes.
Yeah.
N.
6 years. 6 years, yeah.
I.
15%.
Per annum.
Now, how do you write the formula? Somebody help me. P is equal to, you multiply by what is given. You go to your interest table. You look for where given, find P, given A,
15%.
given 15,
given N, 6 years.
And 6 years.
right?
Yep.
So we'll go to our table now. Where do we go to table? 15%, right?
15%, yeah.
6 years.
This is 15%. We are looking for, we are to find P given A. So we're looking for the what? Present what? So the interest table has given you the expo. You're looking for the present what? Or you are looking for the present what of the investment. Present value. Remember, you can call it three things. Current investment cost, present value, present what? Investable amount. Is giving me 3.784.
Yeah.
3.784. So P now is equal to 5,000 multiplied by 3.78.
18,920. 18,920.
18,920.
Yeah. Dollars.
So dollars. What does this tell you? Can somebody interpret it? What it means that if that equipment or if the whole thing they want to install is beyond $18,900, it is not a good investment. True or false?
Yes. You won't be able to make $5,000.
You won't be able to make 5,000. Thank you. So that is the implication.
But if it's lower than this, you make more. It's more viable.
If it's lower than this, you are good to go.
Yeah.
So now the thing now, if it is not lower than it, but you need the equipment, what you now have to do, you start now to negotiate based on interest. You go and touch the interest rates. You go for a bank that will give you lower interest. You do get the point? Assuming now, they now said this equipment is $25,000 and you have done based on 15%. It didn't work. So what you now do, you try at 10%. Shall we? Right? Hey, unmute yourself. We are trying to be interactive now. Assuming they came and said, it must be $25,000 or nothing. So what you now do is you go back, you try at what you can go back to your bank and say, look, at 15%, I can't make profits. So let us try at 10%. We have solved the question. We've solved the question. The answer is we give it 920. That's the present cost. We're now trying to play around to say what are our options, choices. Remember, we're talking about economic analysis choices. So if the interest rate comes down to 10%, no, it's still not too good. If the interest rate comes up to 10%, 4,355.
It's less than 5,000.
So let's assume that 5,000 is what you want to get. So it means 4,355 0.55. 0. Is this no
4.355, yeah.
355 multiplied by 5,000. So even if bank gives you the money at 10%, the present worth is still at 21,775. That means the business is still no good. Okay, next, let's see if there's a bank that can give me at 5%. If I do this,
what of increasing the tenor?
What increasing the tenor will only make matter worse, sir.
What if
no, you cannot
backwards?
increase tenor because the equipment cannot last more than 6 years.
Okay.
What if we walk backwards? We have 25,000 that we are looking at, and we want
you can do that, but that would be too complicated. That would be too complicated for us at this stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's ahead of us. That is now a academic problem. You can that in other words, I'm asking you at what interest percent can that 25% work? Yes, that's a high tech. I can show you how to do it anyway. But then by next week, I'll also show you how to do it Excel. Now, but let's check whether 5% can still work. So at 5%, I'm getting 5.076. 5.076. I multiply by it works, sir. So it's only at 5% interest can I buy that equipment at 25,000. Because at 5%, I'm getting 25380. So let's just assume it to be 25,000. So it means this business I cannot do it. That means this business, if my budget, if the vendor said the equipment is being sold at 25,000, and I've done my calculation, and I got $18,920. It means I can't buy that equipment at that interest rate. But if I can get a bank that can give me at interest rate of 5%, then I can buy it. So what it means is that in this country, in Nigeria now, you can't buy that equipment. But you can buy it in some countries where the annual interest rate is even 2%.
China.
Like China. Even in Germany is 2.5. Yes, Germany is 2.5%. America, I was surprised when I got American mortgage. American mortgage is like 0.6%. I was buying house outrightly in America is a waste. Just pay mortgage. And that's why mortgage is even like a constant thing. As long as you are sure that you have a steady income, that's the key thing. If not, they'll go for foreclosure. That's just the issue. As long as you are sure you have a steady job, maybe you're earning $4,000 a month or $3,000 a month, or let's say $5,000, it means you can buy that house. Because I know you can get a relatively 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment for $100,000, maybe in the outskirts of town. If not, it goes from $200,000. So it means you can comfortably pay $2,380 as your mortgage bill. But then the problem is that you are going for 5 years. 5 years is too small. Why not go for 15, 20 years? Then the mortgage goes even lower. I love that question. Maybe we can go back and try it. But somebody, next week, can come up with any question. I mean, with what we have done today, you can do all those things. You can do it. You can know how much you can pay. If you stretch that into 10, 15 years, you'll be paying $1,000 every month.
Excuse me, I want to ask something, please.
Yes.
By the end of the day, the money will be more than
this.
Yeah, but because you are paying, if you more than 100,000, because you are paying for 15 years, I mean, you have you can do it. Let's ask question. You can do it. I know how much you are paying.
Pay more.
Remember, is either you buy 100,000 today, or you pay after 5 years on a monthly basis. By that time, the total amount you must have paid will be 142,000. Remember, you just did it. Huh? Yeah, 142,000.
Okay, I want to say something, please.
Go ahead.
This applies to what we said last week when we were talking about Germany and other countries, where you check the one that will be good for you. So you cannot pick the ones that the country that you know that would be fit into the system that you're giving.
Not only country, I can even say states. state by state.
Okay, the
if you go to
states.
Germany,
Okay,
there's
because you
16
said
states.
Germany and we're giving Germany and US another country last week.
Do you really have that kind of option? Why not limit it to one single country? My opinion.
Okay.
Living in Munich
Okay.
or living in Berlin, don't even try living in Munich. It's very expensive. Stuttgart's very expensive. When you start going to Dresden, Aachen, all those countries towards East Germany, if only you can face their lifestyle, it becomes cheaper. Or you go towards countries that are towards Netherlands, like Cologne, Aachen. But if you're going towards Stuttgart, Strasbourg, things are expensive there. If you start going towards Munich, Munich is the most expensive city, and their interest rate vary. I'm just trying to play around. I want us to see this from a personal perspective, from a business perspective. Even though we want to apply it to energy, our target is renewable energy and energy auditing. But I want us to know that it applies to everyday life. And why I'm using all these examples to demonstrate it is I want to bring it home. I want you to appreciate it, and I want you to understand it. You know, when I'm talking about this mathematics thing, it looks complicated. When you start applying to real life, you begin to see the beauty of it. So I've done one example. I will repeat this example. The idea is not to do any exercise today, but rather to lay a foundation, a very solid groundwork. Because many of us, this is the first time we are coming across things like this. So many of us have done MBA, have done masters, where we do engineering economy and all economic business in engineering. I don't know what they call it, depending on which school you attend or whatever. But
engineering economy,
yes. I know we did something like this, but what we did in our school is more like to cram the formulas and whatever.
No, but that time it was not. You cannot visualize what you are doing. But now, you can put figures to realities, to your pocket.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
One example I always use is this example. That if you want to send your child to US in 5 years, you can actually start spending now. But the bad thing is that most of our banks don't give high interest rates. They give out 100%, but when you ask them to fix deposit, I don't think there's any fixed deposit that's more than 7% at the moment.
They wound you. That's what they wound you. It's when you want to collect from there, they give you their maximum.
Yeah, I think it's not fixed deposit is not more than 10%. And there are better things to do than to. In fact, if you put your money in fixed deposit, as you are getting 7%, inflation is taking 20%. So
yeah, plus service charges that will collect from you.
Thank you. So at the end of the day, it's penny white pound foolish. Right. So somebody has a question.
Hello, sir. Yes. I want to relate this thing to a customer that he has a limited budget. Okay. And you know that if you give him a Schneider chart controller, it will last him 15 years. But the cost of the Schneider chart controller is about 1.3 million. But there's a China product that will last me for about 5 years, 6 years. And it's worth less than about 500,000. And its budget is so small.
This is a practical example. Sorry, sir. Start again. Let me be typing it.
Okay. So we have a customer.
You want to make two choices, huh?
Yes,
the first one is Schneider. So the first one is German choice. So let me put German choice. Okay. Go on.
And it's a Chinese product. And that's Schneider German product.
The present value is what?
It's 1.3 million.
1.3 million. Hold on. It will last for how many years?
It should last for nothing less than 15 years.
So 15 years.
Yeah.
Just
which interest rate are we using? We are using same interest rate for two of them. Are we using Nigerian interest rates?
Qualified charge controller. Qualified, so know what we are working on. German type charge controller. Charge controller, yes. Then the China type charge controller.
So let's finish with the parameters for the German. Interest rates, let us use 20% for Nigeria, right?
Okay.
The bank that is borrowing the money is a Nigerian bank.
Yes, sir.
So what again?
He has a limited budget. Yeah.
He has a limited budget. So we're looking for the A.
Yeah.
I want to know how much you'll be paying back Should we do it monthly or annually?
Let's say annually.
No, let's do monthly. Let it make
monthly.
The charge controller will last for how many years? 15 years. Okay, it's 15 there. No, 15 years means 15 months. So let's do it.
Years.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it annually. Okay, annually. Should we say how much will he have paid after 15 years, or how much is it? Let's say how much is costing him every month. Makes sense that way.
Yes.
I do the China own.
Okay. China own same capacity of charge controller, maybe 400,000.
Hold on, just hold on. After this, we'll go, please. Close the class. 400,000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How many will they last?
Okay, it will last maybe 6 years, 6 years.
Be pragmatic, 6 years. Okay, so let's go. So we want to know how much is it costing him every year, every month, right?
Yes, sir.
No, I think the one that will provide value for him.
No, is both of them are giving the same value. You must establish that. No,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. They will serve him. They will serve him, but with the brand, the quality, the durability are different.
So now let me just make it easy for us so that the money doesn't go too much. We want to know how much he's spending, how much, or we can say how much is it costing him per month. So in the interest rate, let's leave it at 2% per month since we are talking about monthly. And let's assume that annually the interest rate is 24%, right? 4%, that means 2% per month. So let's go. So for this one now, we want to find the A. And we are giving the what? The P. So we are giving the P. So we'll say A over P at N 15.
Is that correct?
And at 2%. Are we together? But this N will be N times 60, please.
Yes.
No, wait. No.
Exactly.
If we say 15 years, N times 12, that figure can be inside that chart.
Sorry. Can't we just do the 15 years? Do it annually, every annually, before we talk about Monday, so we don't complicate it.
Okay. If interest rate remain 20. Okay, let's go. Okay, so now the annual what? The annual what is now equal to?
This one is you are saying 20%, 20.
Yeah, we'll take it back to annual. We took it back to annual. So okay, I'll change the other one too.
Yeah, change to 20.
Or 25 or even 24%. Okay. Multiply by, let's go to our interest table. So our interest table, we look at 20% at 15. Are we together?
Yes.
So somebody tell me, what did you get?
Let's use your table now. We don't
20% is here at 15 years. And what are we looking for? We are looking for capital recovery.
We're looking for A.
Yeah, which is capital. It's called capital recovery factor.
Yes.
So it's giving us 0.2139. Zero 0.2139. So what is costing him per year is 0.2139 multiplied by 1300. It's costing him 278,000 per year. Good. Whereas the China one, let's just go straight, right? No need to waste time. 400,000 times. We'll go to the same table.
For 6 years.
For 6 years. 0.3007. 0.3007 multiply 400,000. 120,000.
So what would I do is to
the China one is better now. It's cheaper.
No, don't conclude yet. Don't conclude. What would I do is to use a common denominator of 15 years. If 6 years goes to this, what will it be in 15 years before we can now compare the value?
Okay. The China equipment cannot last 15 years now. That is the quality he's talking about.
No, let's know how much he's going to spend. If he's going to, for that same 15 years of value of this, what would he spend?
You need to invest.
In 15 years, listen now.
Going to do another investment again.
Yes, you got to invest again to buy another within the 15 years. Why?
Years, I know how much. That's what going to engage demand. If you are going for China, in 15 years, this is what it's going to cost you in China. But if you go for this one for Germany, in 15 years, this is how much you're going to spend.
Okay, to do that, I know how to do that, but that's the right thing to do. But what it means to me, what it means is that we need to, first of all, after 6 years, he will purchase another one. Listen.
Yes.
So what we'll do, he will say 400,000. What will 400,000 be in 6 years today? Exactly. Or should we say he's going to buy 3 of them today? Okay, let's say he's going to buy 3 of them and start taking them. If he's buying 3 and start taking them, it means this 400,000 is now 1 million. Is now 1 million. That means he will buy 3 of them.
1.2, that's 1.2 million.
Okay, 1.2 million. That means he's buying 3 of them. Yeah. So it means here now, will change, will now become 1.2 million.
Okay.
It will now be 0.3007.
You need to change the 0.03 to 15.
Yeah, 15, yes. The end now 15, good. Yeah.
But mind you again, this 3 times.
No. Sir, you're right. We've gotten the answer. It's a clear thing. You will be spending 360.
But no, it is for 18 years now, not 15. That's for 18 years.
Yeah, but because you can't buy 2, you can't buy half 3 years. So it means you are buying. Yeah, it's 18. Yeah. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, if okay. 18 years, that means the value will change. So N is now 18. Wait. I'm making a mistake. Sorry. Oh, I'm making a mistake. I'm looking for a. So this one is after 18 years is 0.2078. And for the other one, it is 0.2078. Here is 0.2078. Sorry for that mistake.
So Uche.
Yes.
I did it for the 6 years and extrapolated it to 15 years. He gave 300,700. So for 15 years of the China, you will spend 300,700. But with the German one, you spend 278. So economically,
yes,
German type has more value.
But the bottom line, I don't think he has the capital.
He doesn't have the capital. Yes, so for going for the
he's going for cost him more over here. Because the next
somebody who does not have money, go to bank to borrow money to invest. Borrowing that money, your price will cost you more. But you have the cash, it will pay you less. You will make more profit. So, since that's what you want, you will live with it. The difference of 22,000 is not too much.
But one thing I want to say, we've tried, but honestly speaking, they are very close because this one is giving 278.
The other was 300.
No, the other one is giving me, if you look at 15 years, the other one is giving me 360. But if you do it for 18 years.
That's for 18 years. Now 18 years give you 360.
No. 15 years is more expensive. It's 3 years. So the China one will last, with more economical. The China one is giving me 249 for 18 years. It's very close. Why the China one is giving me 278?
Okay.
The longer
but if the China one will last up to, but if the China one will last for 18, the annual worth is 250,000. The German one will last for 15 years. It will give you 278. They are very close, but at least I'm happy we have an idea of what we're talking about.
Yeah, so you should go for the China.
For now, China seems to believe it. But then this is the issue, sir. Beyond the cost value, did you consider the installation cost, or if you come back after 6 years, would there be cost of overhauling? Would there be transport cost? Can you do a life cycle cost on it again?
Yeah, those are the hidden costs.
So are there additional costs that will shoot it up, so that you know that if you're installing the German one once, you don't have to come back again until 15 years?
No, but the bottom line is you do not have the cash to do that. So this option is still a win-win for him.
Yes.
A win-win for him. So you should go ahead with the China product. You still get develop what he's looking for.
But I'm wondering somebody who can bring out 1.3 million and 400,000. They're not that too far. But maybe it will start making sense if we use higher amounts, more expensive projects, right?
No, in this case, like, you're only going to spend 400.
Another point we're missing here is why it's better for him to go for the China is, remember, the China lifespan is 6 years. And we did our calculation with 3 equipment. That means after 6 years, he will put a new equipment.
Yes.
That's our argument. And after another 6 years, he put a new equipment. So at any point in time, his equipment is still new after 6 years.
But what will be the value of that change at that time? Because if you don't buy them and keep, you will now pay the value.
Thank you. We assume he's buying them. We didn't.
Swans.
We considered that he's buying all of them now, because if you want us to go back after 6 years, that means after 6 years the new equipment is no longer 400,000. That means we need to do a single payment escalation to say what is the future of 400,000 in 6 years. So it's more than what we are looking at. So let us leave it. Let us think over it. I will send it. Let me save this and send to us. I want us to look at it during the week. We'll come on Saturday. We'll look at it. It is already 12:25. I need to end the class. Oh, I've not stopped recording.
All right. Thank you very much.
Please, one more thing.